Guys, I'm still processing everything heading into this Week 9 matchup against the Titans. We just got hit with so much information, and I've been up thinking about how this all shakes out for our playoff hopes. We're sitting at 5-3, fighting for our lives in the AFC West, and we're about to face a 1-7 Titans team that just fired their head coach. Sounds easy, right? But here's the thing that bothered me. We already dropped a game against the Giants earlier this season. The Giants! And now we're walking into another trap game situation. I'm going to break down three massive storylines for this game. The first one involves our defensive identity and whether we can keep rolling after dominating the Vikings. The second is about Tennessee's interim head coach, Mike McCoy. And the third one is about whether we can actually handle our business like a real playoff contender. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. Okay, so let's start with the elephant in the room. This is a game we absolutely have to win. Like, there are no excuses here, Chargers fans. None. When you look at the Titans, they're not just bad. They're historically bad this season. They're sitting at 1-7 with a negative 20-point differential. You know how bad that is? They're 40 points worse than the next closest team. 40. That's not just losing. That's getting demolished week after week. And here's what worries me. We have a brutal stretch coming up after this game before we hit our bye week. I'm talking about the Steelers, a potentially Chiefs-level competition. If we don't take care of business against Tennessee, we're looking at a potential 3-game losing streak that could derail our entire season. This is the type of game that separates pretenders from contenders in the AFC. You know what I mean? The Chiefs beat teams they're supposed to beat. The Bills beat teams they're supposed to beat. And us? We lost to the Giants in Week 4 when Jackson Dart was making his first career start. That loss still haunts me, man. It really does. So here's the part that gets me fired up. We're getting healthy at exactly the right time. Joe Alt is back at left tackle, and you guys, that makes such a tremendous difference. When Alt went down, our entire offense struggled. We couldn't run the ball effectively, Justin Herbert was getting pressured, the whole thing fell apart. But last week against the Vikings, with Alt back in the lineup, we looked like a completely different team. We put up 37 points, 37, against the Vikings defense that people were respecting. And it wasn't just the offense. Our defense finally woke up after a 3-week stretch where we looked like one of the worst units in the league. Jesse Minter's scheme came alive. We held the Vikings to just 10 points, forced Carson Wentz into uncomfortable situation after uncomfortable situation, and Khalil Mack looked like vintage Khalil Mack out there. That's different. That's the kind of performance that makes me think we can actually make noise in January.
Now, here's the thing that makes me nervous, and I really thought about this. The Titans might be 1-7, but they're not going to just roll over and die. They've got some young players who are fighting for their NFL futures. Cam Ward, their rookie quarterback, he's raw as hell, but the kid has arm talent, real arm talent. He's already thrown for over 1,600 yards with 5 touchdowns. Yeah, he's also got 6 interceptions, and he's been sacked 34 times, which is the most in the entire NFL. But you know what? Sometimes young quarterbacks have that one breakout game where everything clicks. What if that happens against us? What if Ward connects with Kim Dyke, their rookie receiver who's been balling out for a couple of deep shots? Dyke had 93 yards last week, and he's leading the AFC in kick return yards. The kid is explosive. And then you've got guys like Tajay Spears at running back who can take a screen pass 50 yards. One broken tackle in our secondary, and suddenly this game is closer than it should be. That worries me. That keeps me thinking about what could go wrong. And there's one thing that will change everything I just said. Mike McCoy. Man, now we're entering weird territory here. McCoy was our head coach from 2013 to 2016. He coached us in San Diego before the move to LA. He went 27-37 in his tenure, made the playoffs just once, and honestly, most Chargers fans were ready to move on when he got fired. But now he's the interim head coach in Tennessee after they fired Brian Callahan. And this is technically his revenge game. Look, I don't know how much Mike McCoy has in the tank as a play caller or head coach at this point in his career. He's 53 years old, he's been bouncing around as an assistant, and he's 0-2 as Tennessee's interim coach with losses to the Patriots and Colts. But you know what coaches do in revenge games? They get weird. They dial up trick plays they normally wouldn't call. They go for it on 4th down when they should punt. They throw everything at the wall trying to prove the team that fired them made a mistake. And that unpredictability, that desperation, it can make a bad team dangerous for 1 week. I'm not saying the Titans are suddenly going to look like the 49ers, but I am saying we better be ready for some stuff we haven't seen on film. Here's the part that takes my breath away, though. Our offensive weapons against their depleted secondary? You guys, this could get ugly for Tennessee. We've got Lad McConkey finally coming into his own after a slow start to the season. We've got Quentin Johnston, who's having the best year of his career. Keenan Allen is still Keenan Allen. Even at his age, he knows how to get open. And then there's Rondé Gadsden, our rookie tight end, who has absolutely gone nuclear the last few weeks. 19 catches for 309 yards in the last 3 games alone. 19 catches for 309 yards. That's insane production from a rookie tight end. The Titans have nobody who can cover him. Nobody. When Gadsden runs a seam route, who's stopping him? Not their safeties, not their linebackers. And if they try to double him, that leaves McConkey one-on-one with a practice squad corner. Justin Herbert should be feasting in this game. Absolutely feasting. As long as our offensive line keeps him clean, and with Joe All back, that should happen, Herbert could throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm not even exaggerating. That's the kind of game that's on the table here. Man, now I'm thinking about the matchups, and here's where I get really excited. Our pass rush against their offensive line, the Titans have actually been better the last 2 weeks, allowing 10 pressures or less in back-to-back games. That's improvement for them. I'll give them credit. But they're going up against Khalil Mack, Tuli Tuipulotu, and Odafe Owe. That's not some practice squad pass rush. That's a legitimate unit that can wreck a game plan. Khalil Mack is back to full health after only playing 11 or 12 snaps in his first game back. Against the Vikings, he played over 40 snaps and dominated. This is a first ballot Hall of Famer we're talking about. And Cam Ward, their rookie quarterback, he holds onto the ball way too long. He's not mobile enough to escape pressure. He's already been sacked 34 times this season. If we get after him early, if we make him uncomfortable, he's going to make mistakes, he's going to force throws, he's going to take coverage sacks, and that's when this game gets out of hand. That's when we're talking about a 35-14 type blowout instead of a competitive game. But here's what scares me about our run defense. Yeah, we shut down the Vikings last week and held them to just 34 rushing yards. That was dominant. That was exactly what we needed to see. But the 4 weeks before that, 161 to the Giants, 163 to the Commanders, 137 to the Dolphins, 120 to the Colts. That's not good enough. That's not championship-level run defense. And the Titans have Tyjae Spears, who is a home run hitter. Tony Pollard is physical and runs bigger than his size, but Spears is the guy who scares me. He's got breakaway speed. He can take it to the house on any play. One missed tackle by Denzel Perryman, one bad angle by Dayan Henley, and suddenly Spears is in the open field racing 60 yards for a touchdown. That's the type of play that keeps bad teams in games they have no business being in. And if the Titans hit a couple of those big plays early, if they get some confidence, this game gets a lot harder than it should be. So, that's it, Chargers fans. This Titans game is way more important than just another win on the schedule. This is about proving we're different. This is about taking care of business against a team we should beat. Bolt up.